You know, at this time, our situation is one that needs to be interrupted. We need to break from our habitual mind. So many of the practices that we have found comfortable and have become normal because we made bad assumptions about them collectively. We didn't understand their implications. We had been disconnected from the listening that we're born into as animals, as primates, the word that came up so much in our council. We somehow disconnected from that kind of intuition and visceral knowing of our nature and the balance that has to be sustained with the natural world. And so our profound level of misunderstanding really requires us to slow, to interrupt ourselves, to turn to a space of silence, of pause, as we've put it. And I think of not knowing, of acknowledging that we have to look freshly at our situation in the world and and ask ourselves to find sources of wisdom and action in the parts of us that are actually part of the natural world, deeply part of the natural world, integrated in the natural world. What is happening through a deep, intentional, almost sacred ritual of listening and speaking? What is taking place? Well, I know for myself, and I think this is true for others, there is, first of all, a reckoning that's happening because we don't say these things about even what's happening with the climate. Why is it happening? And what are the implications? We don't actually say those things, speak them, hear them. We don't let it in. So we sit with that. We hear it. We in some way sing it. People are just saying it, but it becomes a kind of, oh, and we let it in. So that's the first sort of engagement of counsel. And after that process, we ask ourselves, given this, how do we wish to conduct ourselves? Given this, what are our choices? What does it mean? How, what we can behave about this in a variety of ways. What are the ones we choose? And they include, obviously, choosing to be caring and compassionate and attending the human and other species disaster that we're living into, attending it with the best parts of ourselves. And then there's the action of trying to solve things, trying to change things, trying to heal things. And the last one is that it can lead to visioning, to building our imagination for what we can be together, what the world can be together. It's several people have said this, that it's an extraordinary opportunity for humanity to become much more conscious of who we are on this planet, what our particular remarkable opportunities and gifts have been, those who can reflect, those who can speak, those who can choose. I've been very influenced by the work of Mary Evelyn Tucker and Brian Swim in their book, Journey of the Universe, and their film. And And it's gotten me looking much more at things from the perspective of geologic time. And also, I think for some reason I'm looking at our planetary location and reality in a way that I've never understood it before. And there's some way that I have and I know it's all those wonderful, I think there are three of them now, three films of the astronauts seeing the planet from outer space and talking about the wonder, this extraordinary experience of seeing this glowing orb, blue, in this enormous black infinite universe, this glowing orb, full of life, full of tenderness, full of all kinds of possibilities. Just this beautiful expression of an almost unfathomable flow of creativity that came from the Big Bang and then took all these different forms. And so here we are for some period of, thousands and thousands of years that it took to arrive at the point that humans evolved on the planet. It's been this, you have to say, sort of neutral process of evolution. And so here we are in a moment that's just very hard for us to, as we live in our tiny moment, because our little, 30 or 50 or 70 or 90 year span is just, a blink in this larger perspective. And there's some way that our brains, our consciousness has not been tuned to maybe you can't even live that way if you're so tuned all the time to sort of the utterly precarious and utterly wondrous condition of your existence. And that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. So you can't quite do that all the time. You really have to attend each moment to, where's that next meal coming from? How's my child? Am I warm? Am I safe from whatever? You have to do that. But earlier peoples did. They aligned their buildings to the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun and the transits of the sun and moon. We are those who sing. We are those who have the opportunity to sing of creation. I mean, what would we be if we were focused on the celebration of these brief windows of coming into being and having a fluorescence and then having a time of decay, each of us and all living things. And as so many indigenous people have done, fully understood that and celebrated it and attended it as their life's work. That makes sense to me. And we need to be those people, because I love this thing I learned recently. Nature is a perfect accountant. You can't hide what's going on from nature. It will reflect and tally the impact of your behavior. And that's what we're experiencing. We're experiencing the accounting that has taken place in this living system that we're part of. And it turns out that we screwed up very badly for our own continuation as a species. I feel so lucky that I, through a very natural unfolding, found myself wanting to bring these councils together. And my reasons for it, I'm compelled to do it, and also to work on the transformation of the educational process in higher education at this time, because no matter what, we must bring everything we know, everything we as humans have come to carry within us in terms of wisdom and insight, all of the ways we can be loving and supportive of each other and of the planet, we must do that. It is somehow, and I must do that, it's somehow part of what it means to be a member of the living system that we are in. If you know the difference, you must call it out in yourself. You must enter the darkness in order to have new insights. You must reach out to others and find solidarity and see what bigger awareness can grow between you. And you must do all that you can for the other living beings and for the young beings. And in so doing, there's a sense that you can live with yourself as this transpires, because you are doing what you can. And it's not an easy time to live with yourself. And so that's what I'd say to others, is that do what it is that you can, because you will then be able, even though you're harboring heaviness, you will be able to sleep at night. You will be able to get up in the morning and say to yourself, today I can act and I can be for the possibilities and the reverence of life on earth. And I can be part of something creative, some ongoing force of creativity that exists in the universe, and not part of the ignorance and the misunderstanding.